The day of the date rolls around and something happens, and after that it just kind of dwindles away to nothing.
Tinder log day, it feels like 100.
I'm sure there are married women who are also crying themselves to sleep every night because they married a raggedy man they met in their 20s.
Yo, what is going on, guys? I hope you are all doing well. So on today's episode, we have a video here from Insolent Audits titled 19 Minutes of Why Older Women Dating Say That Older Men Are Impossible. Because guys, you have a bunch of women who are in their 30s, 40s, and 50s still out here looking for their Prince Charming over on Tinder. So we're going to be jumping into this woman's story right here to kick off the video. As always, guys, don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments.
Tinder log day, I don't know. It feels like 100. So, first of all, I just want to tell you, I was at a work event today taking pictures, and it's a really nice day. It's the first nice day we've had, so I got a little crispy. You're not imagining it. I'm a little sunburned. So I just wanted to let you know. But anyway, so the story I wanted to tell you, I matched with this guy on Tinder, and he was super cute. And I was like, oh, okay. So he liked me, I liked him. We matched, yay. So anyway, this morning, he sent me a message, and he was like, good morning. But I was at my work event, so I couldn't respond to him. So when I got home, I was like, hey, sorry for the delay. I was working. And so he wrote back, and he was like, oh, no problem, blah, blah, blah. And so we, sent a few messages back and forth, real short ones, nothing earth-shattering at all.
Okay, let me pause the video right at this section to explain something to my female viewers. Men are very simple creatures. They are so simple, I will put the gorilla seal of approval on the fact that just on this 1 minute of information, 90% plus of my male viewers have extrapolated the following. A guy with a higher SMV than this aspiring rosebud of a fairy tale ending, wishful thinking lady knows she is a woman he can afford to talk to as he pleases because she isn't an L in his book by any stretch of the imagination. In other words, he is thinking, okay, pump and dump, or maybe give her a spot on the end of his roster, or more than likely, he's going to want to see what she is working with before deciding to invest any more time in trying to close. Yeah, men do look at physical beauty first before anything else, and don't act like women are any different. It's not like the first thing women see in a guy's dating profile is his great looking personality or how much of a nice guy he is. Look at it this way. Men want to see your heart, but it's not their fault your fun bags are covering it up.
The thing that gets me about these videos before we continue is that these women who are making these videos are still looking for their Prince Charming, right? I don't know how old this woman is, 40s, 50s, I have no idea. But she's still out here and she's using Tinder to try and find a relationship, and she's talking about her dating escapades. No guy with any self-respect is going to say, you know what, I'm finally attractive to women, I've worked my backside off, now I'm going to date some woman in her 30s or 40s who's still out here using dating applications like Tinder. You should have found your man a very, very long time ago. And this is going to go the same way. I haven't seen the video clip, but I'm just going to assume that she gets ghosted or that he sees her a couple of times and then stops talking to her after that.
And he says, hey, do you have Snapchat? Everyone on dating apps right now who's watching this video knows what that means.
Wait a minute. Do you guys hear that? That is the sound of this woman talking absolute nonsense. But you guys know what isn't nonsense? Today's video sponsor, Tiege Hanley. Guys, if you are looking to improve your skincare, then look no further than the first ever sponsor of this channel, Tiege Hanley. Tiege Hanley is a skincare brand for men that simplifies the entire process and gives you all the products that you need and nothing that you don't. There is a reason that the women we cover on this channel wear 50 pounds of makeup and a filter on top of that, and that is because they don't actually take care of their skin, and I don't want you to be like them, so I recommend Tiege Hanley. Tiege has different kinds of systems, but their level 1 system is what I personally recommend to people so that you can get all of their basic stuff. You get a daily face wash, an exfoliating scrub, an AM moisturizer with SPF 20, and also a PM moisturizer. Not only that, but even if you're as dense as some of the people that we cover on this channel, maybe you're a male feminist who is hate watching or something like this, you can still use Tiege Hanley because they make it so ridiculously easy, because in every box they even give you an instruction card. If you go to their website, they also have thousands of 5-star reviews from all over the world, which I'll put on screen now for you to see. Putting your skincare off as a man is something that I personally don't recommend, which is why I think that Tiege is a great sponsor for these kinds of videos. And because they're sponsoring today's video, they're offering you guys an amazing deal. Just click the first link in the video description to get 30% off your first skincare system and a free gift. Plus, as a member, you also get 20% off for life. Also, both gifts you are choosing from are of $20 value and complete game changers. You get either a silicone body scrubber or a nail and face grooming kit. Personally, I prefer the face grooming kit as my facial hair has me growing a messy ass beard in 3 days if I don't take care of it, and that's the perfect solution. So don't wait any longer, guys. Click the first link in the description to start with Tiege today, and let's get back to today's episode.
And if you don't, good, I'm glad. Anyway, so I was like, okay. So I said, no, I'm sorry, I don't. Well, he immediately unmatched me. Unmatched me, like didn't, like nothing. It was like, okay. So that's over now. This has been really fun for me. I just want you to know that I love it. This is the best time I've ever had. But I'm trying to have a good sense of humor about it. And obviously, if I have funny stories like that, I will share them with you, because why shouldn't you share in my joy?
Yeah, so basically she matched with an attractive dude. And again, guys, even women like this have way more options than the average man does, especially on dating applications. But she matched with a dude who was attractive, and then she immediately got ditched because he wasn't interested in anything serious. Right? He was probably looking for a bit of fun. He probably thought that maybe she was faking her photos as well. That might have been a reason why he also wanted to add her on there. But in any case, he was only looking for a bit of fun, and that's it. And then you got tossed to the side. And this is going to continue to happen, guys, especially because these women are getting older, right? And they're still trying to date the super attractive guys that have lots of options. And the men who are older and who are more attractive, who have put the work in, they have absolutely no reason to date a girl like this. Absolutely no reason. They have plenty of options, and they're just going to date the younger woman who's less of a pain in the backside and less psychotic, and who probably doesn't have a TikTok account where she talks about her relationship escapades.
Well, let me say in a nice way what it means in dating to ask for Snapchat by quoting article writer Megan Cooper. It is a tool for dating by creating an intimate and immediate multi-layered conversation. Snapchat helps you build the foundations of a healthy and successful relationship. And sure, this is the best time for her dating. She is having a wonderful time when Chad/Tyrone cut her out at the beginning of the tryout for a spot on the roster. Sorry, sister, but that cute guy has options, and you were lucky he had a spot to consider you for. Also, before any of you ladies come out at me with the song and dance of this woman just wants a decent guy, oh, save it. If she wanted a decent guy, she would be swiping right on guys at her SMV level, not trying and failing spectacularly to compete for one of the top 20% of guys on those apps. I mean, she swiped right on a cute guy, and she is no beauty pageant queen anywhere else outside of her imagination. But hey, I do applaud her for having a good sense of humor about it. Moving on.
So this one here says, it's impossible for women after 40 to find a boyfriend. I have no children, I cook delicious food, and I have a big house. Am I really that bad? And she's sitting here crying in the car. This is absolutely hilarious. Let's jump in.
It never fails. A woman comes on the internet being vulnerable, being relatable, expressing how she feels to other women. And men jump on there and they take that as their opportunity to be like, see, and I'm sure you probably met plenty of men in your 20s, plenty of men in your 30s that you could have settled down and had kids for, but no, you thought you were too good for them and this and that. Like, lonely doesn't mean desperate. So you can dump out that trash bag full of clothes because you're not bringing them to her house. Not every woman who is lonely is willing to settle for you. Don't let her tears on the internet fool you into thinking that she's probably thinking, I should have settled long ago. Like, some women don't want to settle. She might be lonely in the moment, but she still would rather choose this life. Don't act like single women are the only ones who are in tears. I'm sure there are married women who are also crying themselves to sleep every night because they married a raggedy man they met in their 20s, the raggedy man they met in their 30s.
You tell them, Queen! How dare those men type up their opinion of what these decades post-war queens posted on a social platform for the entire world to see, but somehow only other women are the ones who have the right to say anything because you say so. Here's a hint, sister. If she posted that video or any other woman posts her own video, it's fair game. Cry me a river with your complaints. I bet this is the type of woman who would do exactly what she is trying to call out if it were a man who posted a similar video calling him a type of incel that needs to man up.
Liar! Liar! Liar!
I am lying? BS. She proved this exact point when she started her claim of women settled for raggedy men and are crying in marriages. And in case this gem of a queen missed it, that little clip at the beginning is dripping with desperation, i.e. a boss babe crying because she chose her career and getting on with her bad self in her big house over starting a family. It's called a regret of listening to womanism's empty promises. But sure, only men should be held accountable for their own decisions, right?
Some of these men want you to settle because they are the men they want you to settle for. So of course you're going to be like, see, I'm sure you met, they're the raggedy men they speak of.
I love this. This video is just wrong in so many ways here. Absolutely hilarious. So number one, this woman is complaining that men are commenting on a video that is public, that is posted to the public, as Insolent Audit says, right? So she wants only women to, basically she only wants women who agree with her to comment on the particular video. But let's just run it back, okay? So you've got this woman crying in her car. I don't know, looks pretty desperate to me, okay? So she says, it's impossible for women after 40 to find a boyfriend. Number one, it isn't. It absolutely isn't. But a lot of these girls who get to this age and they still haven't found a boyfriend or a husband, the reason why is because their ego is so big. They think that they're settling for the average man when they are the average woman or below. That's the problem here. They think that they deserve a lot more than they do. And I actually agree with this woman who's yelling at the camera, who's really obnoxious back here, okay? If women want to do that, if they want to continue to be lonely and cry in their cars, I have no objection to that at all. It makes for great content for my channel. It's absolutely fantastic. I can't find better content, you know? And there's lots and lots of these videos of these women crying in their cars. So I actually fully agree. You're strong, you're empowered, and you can make the decision to go out there and work until you're 60. Not my problem, not men's problem. And also, a lot of these women who reach 40 and they regret their decisions, like this is not a terrible looking woman, right? But a lot of these women who reach this age, dudes are not exactly out here trying to go after the 40-year-old women who are still single and incredibly masculine. Nobody cares. She put food in here for once, right? Women don't typically do this, but no dude cares about how big your house is. Sorry, no man cares about how big your house is. We're not out here dating women so that we can, you know, take away their assets. That's what women do. Let's continue with the video.
Empty promises. But sure, only men should be held accountable for their own decisions, right?
Some of these men want you to settle because they are the men they want you to settle for. So of course you're going to be like, see, I'm sure you met, they're the raggedy men they speak of. So her comment said things like, but at least you enjoyed your 20s when you didn't need no man. You missed the train, get a cat, don't.
I like this comment here from Michael. This is a good. This woman's so mad as well because all these comments have a lot of upvotes. So if you guys aren't watching the screen right now, some dude in the comments named Michael told her to get a cat and has over 500 likes on it. That's fantastic. This guy down here, David, says, "Don't worry, it gets worse." I love it. Fantastic responses, boys. Keep it up.
Don't worry, it gets worse. Getting a man is not difficult. It's getting a decent man that sometimes is an issue. People think the worst thing in the world is being alone, but it's not. It's being with someone that makes you feel alone. So for all the men out there.
Yeah, translation, I hate being with someone who I feel like I deserve better than. Your ego is so damn big. And guys, for the life of me, the fact that this woman has an ego is amazing to me because you couldn't pay me money to sit down on a dinner date with this woman. You could not put funds in front of me and say, Taylor, you have to take this woman out to a dinner date. Just no, just absolutely not. These girls, they think that they're the prize, but I can barely stand a minute clip of listening to them. Isn't that crazy?
There that are really worried about her. For some reason, I think she'll be fine. I think she pulls her car up every day to the house that she owns, that she pays for herself. She probably crawls into her king-size bed that she doesn't have to share.
Nobody cares.
She has a girl dinner, and I think she plans a trip with a solo trip or a trip with her girlfriends, spend time with her family and her friends. She probably has a pet. I think
It's probably a cat, so it doesn't really count, but go on.
she'll be fine. So when you get back home to your basement at your mom's house and you're heating up that Hot Pocket that you didn't finish this morning, and you crawl into your futon, I want you to realize that she's not worried about you, so maybe you shouldn't worry about her.
Correction, Queen. Getting a man in your bed is not difficult. Getting the man you want to commit to you and put a ring on it is very difficult for women. And that BS of her saying getting a decent man is an issue. Cap, total cap. There is an ocean of decent men out there that will sacrifice to start and maintain a family. It's queens like the one you are defending that always chase Chad/Tyrone, get on their rosters, and then get dumped while ignoring the corny, lame, boring, decent men until their SMVs drop in value faster than last week's new NFT buzz. Then they are begging for a chump to come along and put her roast beef on a pedestal. In other words, it's the men who are settling. I highly doubt those men who comment worry about the first woman, similar to how this queen worries about the man that made the comments. I mean, the boss babe can have a girl dinner in her big house all she wants to accompany her tears of loneliness. Sister, not one thing in your 2-minute rant disproved even one of the comments made by those men. And everything you mentioned are basically superficial things that women will never find as much fulfillment in as having a family and a good relationship. Methinks this life coach is drinking and pouring too much of that womanist Kool-Aid, even with the evidence of midlife loneliness on display.
How dare you?
Moving on.
Okay, so it's time for another installment of Dating Over 40. And this question is mostly for the guys, and ladies, I would like to know if this has ever happened to you. So, there have been several times that this has happened to me or to friends of mine, and I just need to know why, what the issue is. So you meet somebody and you start talking and you're getting to know them or whatever, and you set up a date. And then the day of the date rolls around and something happens and they need to reschedule. No big deal. I mean, life happens, that's fine. But then it's kind of like, after that, it just kind of dwindles away to nothing. Or it can be like what happened to a girlfriend of mine not long ago, is that she had a date with this guy and they were supposed to meet, and then he just didn't show up at all. Like, did not come at all.
Oh, let me help you out there. Firstly, by recommending a better sunblock, because if you keep it up like it's going with the sunbathing, you're going to end up looking like a sun-dried tomato.
Solid burn returned.
And
You know what I think? Whenever girls say this for a second, to interject on what Insolent Audits is saying here, I think whenever women sit here and they say that, you know, oh, my girlfriend did this, or my girlfriend had this happen to them, I think they're just talking about themselves. I think that this woman got stood up and she's frustrated about it, so now she's on TikTok making videos, right? And the beautiful part about these videos is these women never really understand. They never get it. They'll continue to chase Chad until the end, basically. Absolutely until the end. So these guys who are like canceling dates and who are not serious about you and blah, 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 these are men who are out of your league. Now, you might not think that they are, but they absolutely are. The fact that you're chasing them and that they don't care about you shows you all that you need to know. These are dudes who typically have a lot of options. A lot of guys get it twisted, okay? If you listen to what these women say, you might feel sorry for them. But then you have to realize, wait a minute. All that it takes, right, is to watch a woman swipe through a dating application and you will lose all sympathy. Absolutely all sympathy will go away, guys, because what happens when even a woman who's like this in her 40s and she's still chasing dudes on dating applications, when she gets on these applications, she can swipe and get a whole bunch more matches than the average guy can by a significant margin, and yet she's still struggling to date. So who do you really have to blame? Is it the men? I don't think it's the men, personally. yes, there are going to be a lot of guys who are idiots out there who are, you know, this and that, right? There are going to be bad eggs in men, of course. But for the most part, there are a lot of good guys out there who are just completely overlooked because these women think that they deserve better, even at 40 years of age. Incredibly masculine a lot of the times, right? Have no like characteristics that men actually care about. They think that men care about money. We don't. And so they end up lonely and crying on TikTok. It's very sad, very desperate.
You would say yes and get his hopes up. Then when the night of the date came, you decided to just go and do something else because you felt like it? Well, that's called ghosting. And now you know what it feels like to be on the receiving end of that. The difference is, somewhere in that sunbaked noggin of yours, there is a self-proclaimed authority that states you deserve never to be ghosted. And ladies, before any of you try to come up to this woman's defense, I assure you the bulk of my male viewers are pretty much certain she has ghosted men before. It's no secret women are not just the inventors of ghosting, they are also the undisputed champions of doing it in the modern dating market.
Yeah, see, the thing is, you don't get to 40 years of age as a woman and you're still single looking for a man and you're not a widow without ghosting men. That's how you get to this age, right? You don't end up 40 years of age still single if you're actually organizing dates with men, right? And dudes who want you, who are actually in your DMs or who are actually trying to speak with you. This is also why a lot of guys just straight up give up on in-person, you know, trying to get to know you. Because there really is no point. You have so many dudes in your DMs, okay? Like, there are a lot of guys who are like, I'm not interested in going out there in the wild, so to speak, and talking to these women. But these girls get to 40, get to 50 years of age by virtue of the fact that they ghosted men. That's how they get there. They ignore the guys that would actually care about them. They ignore the guys who would give them a long-term relationship. And yes, there are going to be a lot of guys in their DMs too that don't really want anything serious, but the good men are completely ignored in favor of the Chad on the dating applications who has gone to a photographer, who has hit the gym for many years. These are the dudes that these women want. Okay? And it's all incredibly narcissistic that they think that they're actually deserving of that guy, simply because the dude will like them back, right? The attractive guy on the dating application will like them back, but he's just going to ghost them because he's not actually interested. He might stack up 5 dates with them. She'll be number 5. And then he'll just cancel and probably unmatch her. But let's keep going with the video.
End up looking like a sun-dried tomato.
Solid burn returned.
Of their own medicine.
And then tried to make her feel bad about it. Why? Why can't people just be honest? What happened to that part of being a decent person? I would rather somebody just look at me and go, you know, no, sis, you're not my type. It's not going to work. Then just be a douche. I mean, just be honest and upfront. Why do men, and I'm sure women do that too. I'm not saying women don't do that. I'm just saying from my point of view, I'm talking about why the men do this. Anybody want to give me any insight? Anybody want to tell me why? Explain that to me. What it is, what happens, what the problem is. Help me out.
Why can't people be honest? Seriously? Women are the masters of playing these types of games, and now you complain when the tables have turned? It's almost hilarious how women demand honesty when 90% plus of them can't handle it. Please, you are not fooling anybody. What you really want is to have the upper hand in the dating market just like you did in your 20s when the guys your age drooled over your young looks and older guys gave you all the attention while showering you with gifts. I'm going to break it to women out there in the dating market in their 40s. Your time has passed. Now, isn't it funny how this queen labels a man who ghosts as being a douche? Really? Does that apply to all the women out there who do the same? Or is it different because they were born with a built-in taco? No. Okay, let me spin it a different way for the XX chromosome closed captioning. Ladies, you now are in the era known as a decade post-wall era. This means you are not as hot as you would like to believe you are. It also means it is far more difficult to lock down the type of guy you want. Now that you have that vital piece of information, will you be willing to accept it? Moving on.
Yeah, see, before we get into the next clip, this is the most obvious filter I've ever seen. But before I'm sorry, I have to pause what I was saying here. This is what I mean about the filters, guys. Like, look at this. You can tell from the eyelashes that this is actually superimposed on top. Like, it's clearly just a filter on top of this woman's face. But the thing is about these videos is you can sit down, you can have a discussion with these women and explain what's going on and why they can't find a good man and why men don't want to date them anymore. You can do that until the cows come home. You can do that until you're blue in the face. But they won't listen. They don't care. Because they would rather chase the dude on the dating application that they feel that they are deserving of. I deserve this guy. You know, men have given me attention all throughout my life. They bought me free drinks. I was never told no. Okay, but I want that one guy who's more attractive. I want that one guy who's above. I want that guy who's better than me. And what they do is they turn themselves into men. These women who get to 30, 40, and 50, they're like, well, you know, I have a lot of money and I have a lot of status and, you know, I've got this degree, but nobody cares because dudes don't date you for these things. You're not more valuable to a guy now that you're 40 years of age. You can't even have kids at 40 years of age. You're like well into a geriatric pregnancy. So if a guy wants to have a family, for example, he can't have kids with you. Okay? And no dude is trying to marry you to divorce you and take your assets. Okay? There might be some scam artists out there that do that. But dudes aren't interested in your lifelong accolades, okay? They want someone who's sweet and nice and young and who's not a pain in the backside. It's really not that difficult. You could have had your husband when you were 23. Problem solved.
Okay, guys, so I had a date, and he was, I actually thought he was good looking. I mean, he met a lot of the things that I'm interested in, and we pulled up. And the first thing I saw in his car was his work bumper sticker tag, parking tag. And I said, oh, do you work there? And he said, yes, why? And I said, well, my cousin works there too. And he's, really, what's his name? And I tell him his name and he's like, that's your cousin? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, right? And I was like, no, that's my cousin. And he goes, I don't know what to do here. I was like, what are you talking about? Well, apparently the two of them do not like each other at all. Horribly, not at all. They can't stand each other. As a matter of fact, I think they intentionally work them on separate shifts so that they don't have to worry about them interacting with each other. And and then the date was pretty much over after that. And I mean, it was, I told him, I said, I feel like you would have had better luck dealing with some other things. Like, I struggle with, like, when to disclose information about me.
Okay, let's get the obvious out of the way here. We have a purple-haired post-war Grand Elder Queen complaining about an unusual dating situation, as if she herself wasn't unusual. Now, this is something that, if 100% true, is completely out of her control and is totally not her own fault. It obviously has affected her, as she is on the verge of tears. Now, with all that being said, and recognized by this gorilla, I have to point out what is not so obvious to the bulk of my female viewers, but is evident to my male viewers, and that is, if she isn't a widow, chances are it's her own fault for finding herself in this situation. In other words, if she ignored the bulk of men who wanted to give her a lifelong family, or she divorced the man she was with because she wanted to find herself in her post-war purple hair dye days back on the carousel, well, whose fault is that again?
God, Karen, you are so stupid.
And as for the guy she is talking about, let me just say it was smart of him to break it off early. I'm sorry, but when men date, they don't want women who are going to bring them problems, especially older women. He probably took a quick measurement to figure out if this Barney-haired gem of a queen was worth patching things up with his rival. And after investing a whole 10 seconds of thought into it, he decided to swipe left in person.
To dates and stuff. Not once have I ever struggled about disclosing who I'm related to, and I was like, damn, my cousin be blocking me and ain't even at the date, and so I just what like, how do you even, what even is that? Like, how do you even?
Isn't it funny as well? I'm just going to take a pause here for a second. Isn't it funny how when this woman was listing the characteristics of this man, I don't know if you guys caught it, But at the start, she goes, yeah, you know, I came across this guy and he was attractive. That's literally the first thing she said about him. The first quality that she listed was that he was physically attractive. And then she says, yeah, he's attractive. And then she says, he ticks all my boxes. So it sounds to me like the boxes were, is he attractive? Yes. Is he attractive? Yes. And then the other boxes were also the same thing, right? Don't let a lot of these, this woman is like, I don't know, in her 50s. Don't let them fool you. Okay, they will say like, oh yeah, I'm looking for a good personality. Oh really, you're looking for a good personality? What on earth, man? Right? They don't give a damn about your personality unless you're attractive. Your personality, guys, this is why you see women complain so much about men's, like, oh, you know, my ex-boyfriend or this guy is like a complete a-hole. Like, they will sit there and they will say that a guy is like awful and he's mean and he's this and he's that. But they date them. But they chase them, but they, you know, add them on dating applications and they go meet up with them. Okay, because they care more about, even this woman in her 50s cares more about how attractive this random dude is than about his personality and what he's like as a person. I guarantee you it. You know, never mind the fact that she actually listed it first, so it's easier to point out. But, you know, these girls, like, they say that they're looking for something long-term and I want a guy who's nice and going to care for me. But what if he's not as physically attractive as she wants? What if he's boring? What if he doesn't make enough money? Right? Blah, blah, blah. And the list kind of goes on. And so they just end up chasing the bad boys and try and convince you that they're a victim of their circumstances. Now, I didn't catch it. If this woman is a widow, if she is, that's incredibly unfortunate. Very sad. But a lot of these girls who end up in this situation, they're just chasing bad boys who are out of their league, straight up.
You know, dates and stuff. Not once have I ever struggled about disclosing who I'm related to. And I was like, damn, my cousin be blocking me and ain't even at the date. And so I just, what? Like, how do you even... What even is that? Like, how do you even deal? I'm just like, damn. So you might, damn, like, and I think it's hilarious, but he did not think it was hilarious at all. And I'm just like, dude, I see this person once a year, and he was like, that doesn't matter. Like, I can't even look at you and not see him. And I mean, I guess that's a ginormous red flag anyway. You know, but still, I have never. I don't even know how to process this information. Out of all of the things I have dodged from like left field, who my relatives are has never been one of them. Like, and that's not even my most messed up relative. Anyway, dating at 50.
Congratulations there, sister. Now you know how dating has been for men since they were 18. Ladies, please save it, as I can guarantee all of you that at least a dozen of my male viewers have been rejected by women for things equally or less trivial. Oh, you don't buy that. Okay, women from 18 till the wall and beyond have rejected guys for reasons like, oh, I don't know, height, as in he wasn't tall enough for her, even though he is actually taller than she is, or he doesn't make enough money for her, even though he makes more money than she does, or if he doesn't own a home.
I mean, the list goes on and on, right? We're going to be ending the video here, but I'll say this again. The reason why these women end up at this particular age and they're still single is because they ignore all of the guys that they would actually have a relationship with, right? They feel as though they deserve better. Oh, I'm not settling for him. He doesn't make enough money. He's not tall enough. He's not smart enough. He's not this. He's not that. And they have a long list of requirements that ensure that they end up at 50 years of age and single. Now, guys, I will never complain about this, okay? You know, it's a good idea for men to invest in the cat food market and the boxed wine market. That's all I'm going to say on that matter. You know, but it makes good content for the channel, and it really shows a lot of people what awaits a lot of these women who think that they can always do better. And it's very sad because this, you know, these girls who make these TikTok videos, they get in relationships with men and then they try and upgrade the man and then it fails. And then, you know, it's just a whole series of drama and nonsense that a lot of men have decided, you know what, I'm no longer interested. I'm going to do my own thing. Guys, we are going to be leaving today's very long episode there. As always, remember to leave your thoughts and your comments. What do you think about girls like this? Do you think that these women deserve a second chance? Do you think that they perhaps deserve their Prince Charming? What do you think down below? As always, guys, make sure you take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next one. Peace.